One of the great things about doing what I do is you meet a lot of people. And I've got a buddy out of North Georgia. He said, now we're not like them people in Atlanta. We're a little bit different. But he called me, I don't know, a month ago. And the reason he called is he wanted to know what I was doing career-wise. He said, I have an opportunity that may be coming up, and it's in the trucking industry. It's pretty exclusive, and it's with a good organization. And he said, if there's an opening, would you be interested? And I said, I don't know. And so we left it to that. And I come home and talked to Missy, and we talked about it and said, you probably should try the opportunity. So I texted him back the next day and we talked, and he said, look, he said, if it comes open, he said, I'll pay your dues. And I thought, well, that's a pretty good statement. That way I'm not out nothing, and we'll get you lined up. And I'm grateful for that, right? But a couple weeks rolled by, and he texted me, and he sent me this picture. And I ain't gonna show you the picture. But in the picture, there was a man, 2 children, and a really good looking blonde girl, right? And when I looked at the picture, right, I thought, damn, if that dude's my age, he's really got it going on. That's exactly what I thought. Because he looked great too. It's like, damn, I don't know what he's been taking. It's better than test. And so, long story short, he said, hey, if you got a second, can you call me? And I called him. He said, man, we're kind of going through it. He said, I got a son. He said, and he's married, and they got children. And he said, him and his wife, they've been married since they were teenagers. And, she called the law. I said, well, did he beat her up? Did he beat her up? He said, no, all he did was he hit the wall. And the Georgia investigative people got involved, and they wrote him a order of protection for a year. He couldn't go to home. He couldn't get his shit. He couldn't see her or the babies. Right? And she had no marks or nothing on it. I said, really? I said, I've been through something like that. And I've been guilty of it too. Let's get real when we get honest. And so he said that, a couple weeks went by. He said, about the time I called you, he said, and she called him and said, hey, baby, we miss you. We love you. I'm sorry. We can work this out. Can you take us on a vacation to the beach? And he jumped on it. That's his family. That's his kids. He loves the girl, right? And she's driving a $150,000 Cadillac, 550 horse Escalade, V-motored, living in a big badass home. She don't have a job. Her job is to take care of the kids, and he is the sole provider of the family, right? And he makes good money. He's in the industry that they're trying to get me to break out in. And he said, by the way, that picture I sent you is them at the beach. I said, really? I said, man, I'm glad you said it, because I really thought I was doing something wrong with my vitamins. He said, oh, no, that ain't me. He said, that's my son, and that's his wife, and that's my 2 grandchildren. It's a pretty couple, and they are a pretty couple, right? He said, but when they come home, they got into it, got in an argument. He left, and she notified the police that they had been together, and they went and arrested him, right? And they locked his ass up, and he said, right now he's in the jail, he's losing his cool. He's never been in trouble. He's a good kid, and he is a good kid. He's never been in any type of trouble. He said, but they just told him that it'll be 3 months before he can see the judge. And I've called every lawyer I know. He said, I know everybody around here. How I even know the judges. He said, that's all they can do. And so he's going to sit there for 90 days, right? Even though she agreed to go on the vacation, even though she instigated it, even though that it was all on her, and nobody got hurt. You got to be careful with them Georgia peaches, because they'll bruise the piss out of you. And so that was a couple of weeks ago, and I since then have sent his dad a whole bunch of information about, you know, what I thought, what to do, whatever, and all this. And we found out today that they released him, right? And part of the release agreement was that he had to wear a GPS device. I believe it's a watch. And his dad kind of found that offensive. I said, He said, I understand now. That is so that he can be tracked so that bitch can't lie about him, right? And say he was here. And they immediately went to doing the checklist in which I told them to do. And that is, get everything that's yours and get the fuck out. Because I will tell you about this. I have been in situations like this. Now, I want to say this. I have been wrong, and then there's been a few instances where I was dead right, all right? And maybe that was part of the deal because I had been wrong so many times that the one instance that I was right in some of my previous relationships where they did the same shit to me and I didn't do nothing and I went to jail, maybe that was me making up for it. Maybe that calls it even, right? They may never admit to it, but on my side, that's how I got to look at it. Because I have been in a situation where I was doing exactly everything I was supposed to do. They had a protection order. I was doing something for my child. And then they lied and I went to jail. But I've also put my hands on them too. Okay, I'm guilty. I don't want to paint no picture like I'm Super Saint Jason. I'm Jason with a motherfucking felony, right? And if you're that guy, right, that you take care of the whole family, you're the chief financial officer, and this bitch is whack, right? Apparently the argument started over him going to work and leaving a Red Bull can on the coffee table, and this bitch calls and goes ham on him and then calls the police, right? Once they learn that behavior, once they learn that they can pick up that phone, right? What do? You see him? You know how he knows how to catch and sit down? Because I'd give him a treat. And so I get a dictated response from the dog. And that is exactly what has happened in this situation. That this woman has learned that she can pick up the phone and call officers of the law, right? Who will say this: I don't agree with this. This ain't right, but I'm just doing my job. Let me refresh you on the greatest instance of people that claimed that they were doing their job. And that would be in like 1940 Germany. When all them SS soldiers loaded up all them people in them cattle cars, and we know what happened. And later, after they got defeated, they said the same shit. I was just doing my job. Point taken. And they load your ass up and take you to jail. And meanwhile, she's learned that, right? And what part do you play in it if you're the guy? I'll tell you the part you play in it. It's called adios, motherfucker. Because there's two laws to success. One, never give up. And two, the ability to learn from your mistakes, okay? And I'm not saying the first time, because I'm not no genius motherfucker, right? You make a mistake, cool. You make the same mistake, hey, I get it, been there. But if you make the same mistake 3 times or more, like I did with meth and dope and all that other shit, prison, then you're a true dumbass. And you deserve every fucking bit of it because you're asking for it, right? You would never stick your hand in a box, right, with a sign on it that said, this is a king cobra, right? And the motherfucker had a hood. You would never stick your hand in there and then expect not to get bit. But for some reason, we like to put on the glasses, right? She loves me. I love her. I can't be there for the children. I get it, right? I use all excuses are valid, right? Not trying to deny that. But let me offer you this. That if that bitch loved you, she wouldn't be doing that, bro. I've been in that sick situation too, right? And I promise you, if you go back into that, everyone that is supporting you right now, that has paid the money for, because that's what she wanted. She wanted 11 grand. That's how he got out today. She told his father, I want 11 grand and I'll let him out because I'm afraid. That was how he got out. His dad had a conflict. And if you go back over that, into that. I have instructed your father to cut your ass loose because you're not going to learn except on your own way. And they are going to teach you, bro. She is going to spank that ass again. And then you will have to sit there and learn, because there's only two ways to learn. There's hard, get this, and there's fucking harder. And what you're proving is that you like to learn in the category of harder. Hallelujah. This is getting long, I know it, but I got a lot to say about it. So what you need to do is find a new fucking way of expressing yourself when it comes to a female. A new one. Practice on a mannequin for about 6 months, just to make sure that you're over it, and then we'll get you a new girl, because there's 7 billion people, and I promise you, there is over 90% of them that won't do that shit to you if you're good to them. I love you. Praying for you. God bless you. Fluid English.
Made you look good and